But they're all angry. They're all upset. They can't believe that he won. They refuse to actually listen to the American people. They refuse to listen to Trump supporters. They refuse to listen to us. They refuse to actually understand why this election happened because they live in their information silo. They have no curiosity. They know what they know, and there's nothing you can show them or tell them or teach them. The country might lose a bit of its population, and not because of the mass deportations that we were promised and will get fulfilled when Tom Homan takes over as the border czar. No, we may have some Americans voluntarily leaving the country because they don't like the results of the election. Take a look at this Fox News headline. More than half of Harris voters want to relocate following Trump win, according to a survey. Go. By the way, my favorite part of this, if you actually break it down, I think the majority of these people want to go to Canada. And I think the next step is Western Europe. And then they say, some of them say to Mexico. Why don't they all go to Mexico? I don't understand. It's like, but part of the reason why we're supposed to hate Trump is because he's racist against Mexicans. And then you're so angry that he got to be president that you're going to leave. And where do you go? You go to Canada instead. I thought Mexico was wonderful. I thought it was, in fact, you know what? You should all go to Haiti. Go to Haiti. A lot of beachfront property there in Haiti. But no, they all want to relocate and leave the country. Listen, I prefer that than relocating to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, or Florida, or Ohio, or Texas. See, that's what I fear. That's it. I'm so angry, I'm relocated. I'm going to one of those swing states so we can do something different next time. I don't need that in my life. But they're all angry. They're all upset. They can't believe that he won. They refuse to actually listen to the American people. They refuse to listen to Trump supporters. They refuse to listen to us. They refuse to actually understand why this election happened because they live in their information silo. They have no curiosity. They know what they know, and there's nothing you can show them or tell them or teach them that will make them change their opinion about what they know because, by the way, a huge number of them are college educated, many of them with advanced degrees. Have you ever tried to teach somebody with a college education something new? It's amazing. When you get that education, you're just unteachable at that point. And so they refuse to actually learn something from this process. And so the only alternative is to leave this country. And it's not going to go well for them. But the desire to relocate and move to Canada or Norway or, yes, even Mexico, as long as you can, be in Cabo and get your tequila for cheap, that's not where it ends. We've also got a problem in Washington, D.C. See, there's a lot of people who work in the federal government, in the Justice Department, the FBI, the Pentagon, and the intelligence agencies, but even in the Department of Agriculture, who are entrenched there, who are part of the bureaucracy. And, well, they don't like the way this election went. But instead of leaving and getting out, they want to stay and they want to resist. In fact, they're already making noise that they're going to be part of the big resistance within Washington, keeping Trump from actually carrying out his agenda. Now, Mark Paoletta is a lawyer and has been in Washington, D.C. for many decades. He's on the short list for Attorney General. Let's see how he would deal with lawyers and FBI investigators not actually towing the line and doing what they're ordered to do by the new Attorney General and the new administration.
Mark, your response to some of the PTSD claims.
Brian, who would have thought it's controversial that when a new boss comes in with a new agenda, that the people who work there are going to support the president's agenda, right? Only in the federal government, only with a deep swamp, do people, career employees think that they get to run the joint, as it were. President Trump was reelected with an overwhelming majority of an agenda by the American people, popularly supported. So deporting millions of illegal aliens out of this country, securing the border, banning DEI, all that destructive stuff that the Biden administration let run wild, getting boys out of girls' sports. Those are all the things that the Department of Justice is going to work on. And those are the things that the Department of Justice employees, career employees, are going to support. And if they don't want to support it, they should leave.
They should leave. They should absolutely leave. The last thing they should do is stay there and then fight from within and undermine. And then, of course, the anonymous leaks come, and then you get the press narratives, and half of it is bogus. And this is how an administration gets crippled. But they've been through this, and we're constantly told by the Trump team that they've learned their lessons, they know better, and they won't let it happen again. Well, we'll see. But it seems pretty simple to me. I've worked for many companies in my past, and sometimes ownership changes, management changes. They come up with a new direction that they want to go, and you have a choice. You either stay on board and you continue, or you find work elsewhere. Lord knows if you're a lawyer right now working in the Justice Department, you have plenty of job opportunities in Washington, D.C. That's what K Street is all about, and you can do just fine. If you willingly choose to stay in the Department of Justice, you can single-handedly undermine and block the efforts of the incoming president. Well, then there's a word for that. There's a very specific word for that, and it is literally treasonous behavior. This isn't about you, and this isn't about your feelings, and I'm sorry that you believe that you in some way are the last bastion of truth, hope, and liberty in this government, and that you're the only one keeping true to the founding documents. But that's not how it works in Washington, D.C. At least it's not how it's supposed to work, and it's not how it's going to work moving forward if Donald Trump actually makes good on his promises. And here's the real sad truth. If you really want to resist this White House, if you really want to block them and stop them, you frankly have a lot more possibilities doing that outside of the Justice Department as a private sector lawyer or working for one of the Soros-funded nonprofits that will file lawsuits trying to stop everything that the Trump administration does. Why don't you do that? And the only answer is because you love the power you've got. You love being within the system and using the power of the federal government. Because let's face it, when you're a lawyer working for Smith and Wesson and Bernstein and O'Connor on some law firm on K Street, and you send somebody an official lawyer letter, yeah, they may get intimidated or they may just throw it in the shredder. But when you send somebody a letter from the Department of Justice, you make them pee their pants. And you get off on that. You love that. You love the power you wield, and you love the fear you put into people when you wield that power, the weapon of the Justice Department of the United States government against an individual citizen. You love it. You're intoxicated by it, and that's why you want to stay in, and that's why you want to undermine it. You know that there's huge rewards if you do. You know that you've got a CNN contract if you end up resisting Trump. Look at Andy McCabe. Look at Jim Clapper. Look at John Brennan. Look at all of these people. Peter Strzok, for God's sake. They all ended up getting jobs on cable news. You learned your lesson, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Oh, they can't clean house fast enough. Oh, but there's more. Let's get to Scott Jennings because he knows exactly what time it is, and he always has something good to say to finish things up over on CNN.
On discussions at the Pentagon. I don't know at what level this is. It just seems like it's informal discussions. I guess it's understandable they would have those discussions. It also, Scott, is it?
Look, I don't like this because what's Donald Trump supposed to think? You know, he's sitting down there, he's the president-elect, and now he's got to read in the newspaper tonight that the unelected bureaucracy of the federal government is having meetings at some level about how to thwart or countermand the commander-in-chief. I don't care if it's at the Pentagon or at the HUD or Ag Department. It doesn't matter. The unelected bureaucracy of this government answers to the civilian and duly elected leadership that we just did. And what if you were in his shoes and you just won the popular vote with a clear mandate, and now you got to read that these unelected bureaucrats are plotting against you? What would you think? If they have problems, if they have problems, they should not have meetings that then leak to the press. If they have ideas or things, they should call the president's office and say, hey, we'd like to have some discussions for planning purposes. But secret meetings that leak, terrible way to get off to a start with the new administration.
Well, I agree that that's maybe not the best way to do it. However, Trump has set them up to be in this situation where they think that he's coming after them.
Well, think about the logic there from Gretchen Carlson. You know, well, listen, he's made them think that they're coming after him. So what else are they supposed to do other than behave in a way that forces him to come after them? I mean, they're only human. I love that the victims here are the people inside the State Department who have leaked information about this private phone call between Donald Trump and President Zelensky, which apparently Elon Musk was sitting in the room as well for the phone call. And who cares? Jimmy Carter used to have his 13-year-old daughter attend meetings when he was at the White House. Joe Biden has his unelected wife run cabinet meetings. Donald Trump can have whoever the hell he wants sitting in the room while he has a private conversation. They can't stand the fact that you elected this guy, which makes last week's results even that much better. It's not just about winning and playing the game by their rules. It's not even all about being in the majority in this country by winning the non-existent and truly, frankly, unimportant popular vote, but it just takes a weapon away from them so they can't claim that. And it's even more than Donald Trump coming in and finishing the job in the next 4 years that he started and then got preempted by the anomaly of the 2020 election. No, as usual, the best part of all of this is what's happening to them, what their reaction is, how they can't help but expose themselves, whether it's people in the media who have been living fat and large off of the status quo and undermining your ideas, your principles, and your values, or the people who work within the government who cannot help themselves just 1 week into the transition team, and they cannot help themselves but act like they're the victim, that this election was really all about them and their hurt feelings, so much so that they're undermining the president-elect on an international conversation that he's having with a foreign leader engaged in one of the most important armed conflicts on the planet right now. And they believe that this is about them and their hurt feelings and what they think should be done and how they believe things should be handled. And they may be right about how it should be handled. Maybe they should run for president. Until they do, sit down and, with all due respect, shut the hell up. Well, it's been 1 week since the election, and for a lot of us who are holding our breath, we can now, we can exhale. Work can finally be done on the major issues this country is facing, and one of the most significant is our national debt. The fact is, the nation is broke, and that debt is a house of cards that can't quickly be dismantled. So the strategy remains the same. Diversify your savings. So many things are out of our control, out of President Trump's control. It's important to have a safe haven for your savings. Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. And the best news is it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. Just text my name, Larry, Larry, to 989898. Get a free info kit on gold. And right now, through Black Friday, through the day after Thanksgiving, you'll receive a free 1-ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 purchase. That's awesome. We're giving you free silver. You're welcome. Diversify your savings with Birch Gold. Text Larry to 989898 and claim your eligibility for free silver today.